Once upon a time, in a small village called Umunze, there was a young girl named Chidinma. She was poor and lived in a tiny hut with her grandmother. Chidinma's parents had passed away when she was very young, so her grandmother took care of her. Every day, Chidinma would wake up very early to fetch water from the river, sweep the compound, and help her grandmother with cooking and other chores. Life was hard, but Chidinma was a very kind and hardworking girl. One day, a message arrived in the village that the prince of the nearby kingdom was looking for a wife. The prince was very powerful and rich, but there was a problem. He was very strange and nobody wanted to marry him. You see, the prince was different from others because he had a curse placed on him many years ago. This curse made him very sad and angry all the time. People said that the prince could never smile, laugh, or even enjoy a good meal. The king, his father, wanted his son to get married, but no one in the kingdom wanted to be the prince's wife. All the beautiful princesses and ladies from other villages refused to marry him because they were scared. They did not want to be with someone who could never smile. The king's heart was very sad because he wanted his son to find happiness. One day, the king decided that he would hold a grand competition. He announced that all the girls in the village who were willing to marry the prince should come and try their luck. The girl who could make the prince laugh or smile would become his wife. All the young women from nearby villages came, dressed in their finest clothes, hoping to win the heart of the prince. Chidinma heard the news, and though she was poor and did not have beautiful clothes like the others, she decided to try. Her grandmother encouraged her to go, saying, "Chidinma, you are a good-hearted girl. Maybe the prince needs someone like you." Chidinma agreed and went to the palace. When she arrived, the other girls laughed at her because she was wearing a simple dress made from old cloth. They thought she would never have a chance, but Chidinma was not scared. She knew she had something special in her heart. She wanted to try, not for the prize, but to help the prince find happiness. The girls were all asked to perform in front of the prince. They sang songs, danced, and told funny stories. Some of them even played musical instruments, hoping to impress the prince. But the prince didn't smile. He just sat on his throne, staring ahead with a sad face. The other girls began to feel discouraged. But Chidinma was patient. She waited for her turn, hoping that something she did could make a difference. Finally, it was her turn. She walked up to the prince and bowed respectfully. The prince looked at her, but did not speak. Chidinma was not afraid. She smiled at him, and then she began to tell a story. It was a simple story, about a little girl who had to work very hard every day to help her grandmother. But one day, when the girl saw a big tree that had many fruits, she decided to share the fruits with the village children, even though she didn't have much for herself. The children were so happy, and they laughed and danced around the girl. Chidinma ended the story by saying, "Sometimes when we share what little we have, we can bring happiness to others." The prince listened quietly. His face was still serious, but something strange happened. As Chidinma finished her story, he looked at her closely. For the first time, the prince felt a little warm in his heart. The sadness in his eyes slowly began to fade. Chidinma had said something that touched him deeply. The way she cared for others, even though she had nothing, made him realize something important. The prince had never seen kindness like hers before. The room was silent for a moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, the prince stood up. He looked at Chidinma and said, "You are different from all the others. You have shown me kindness, and that is what I have been missing. I want to marry you." The other girls gasped in shock. They couldn't believe it. Chidinma, the poor maid, had won the heart of the prince. The prince's father, the king, smiled with joy. He knew that his son had found the right person. The prince had always been sad because he had never known true kindness or love. But now, he was starting to feel something new. But Chidinma was shocked. She couldn't believe it. "Your Highness, I am just a poor maid. I have nothing to offer. How can I marry you?" she asked. The prince looked at her with sincerity. "Chidinma, you have shown me more than anyone else. You have shown me a heart full of love and kindness. That is all I need in a wife." Chidinma thought for a moment. She remembered her grandmother's words. Maybe this is the chance for both of us to find happiness, she said softly. And so, Chidinma became the wife of the prince. But life in the palace was not as easy as she thought. At first, Chidinma felt lonely. She was not used to the grand rooms and beautiful clothes. She missed her grandmother and the simple life she had in the village. But the prince treated her kindly. Slowly, she began to understand that he was not the same angry and sad person he had been before. The prince started to smile more. He laughed at Chidinma's jokes, and together they spent many happy days. She learned that the curse placed on the prince could only be broken by true love, and she had given him that love. Over time, the prince became a happier man. He no longer had to sit alone on his throne, staring at the world in sadness. He had found a friend, a partner, and a wife in her. The people of the kingdom were amazed. They had never seen the prince so happy. They were also surprised to see how kind and wise Chidinma was. She helped the poor, visited the sick, and made sure that everyone in the kingdom was treated fairly. Soon, the kingdom flourished because of her kindness. But not everyone was happy. Some of the rich people in the kingdom were jealous of Chidinma. They did not like the way the prince treated her, and they whispered that she was not worthy of being a queen. They said, "How can someone like her, a poor maid, rule with the prince?" One day, the jealous people decided to trick Chidinma. They told her that a great danger was coming to the kingdom, and only she could save it. They promised that if she saved the kingdom, everyone would respect her. Chidinma, trusting them, went to the forest alone to search for a magical flower that could protect the kingdom. As she walked through the forest, she met a wise old woman. The woman warned her, "Do not trust those who want to trick you. They do not care for your happiness. Go back to the palace and remember that you do not need to prove anything to anyone." Chidinma thought carefully. She realized that the jealous people had used her. She returned to the palace and told the prince what had happened. The prince was furious and wanted to punish the people who had tricked her. But she stopped him. "No, Your Highness," she said. "We do not need to punish anyone. We only need to continue showing kindness and love. That is the true magic." The prince agreed, and together they ruled the kingdom with love and wisdom. The people who had once doubted Chidinma's worth now respected her. She had not only made the prince laugh and smile, but she had also brought peace and happiness to the entire kingdom. And so, Chidinma lived happily ever after with the prince, the man who once could never smile and now smiled every day because of the love and kindness she brought into his life. The end. Today, let's talk about the life lessons from this amazing story. Number 1 is kindness can change lives. A simple act of kindness can bring happiness and healing to others. 2, love is more important than wealth. True love and a caring heart are more valuable than money or status. 3, stay true to yourself, even in difficult situations. Being genuine and kind will lead to success and happiness. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support and love. It means the world to me that you took the time to enjoy this story. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Your feedback helps me create even better content for you. I can't wait to share more amazing stories with you in the next video. See you soon, and take care.